Welcome into Morning Invest on this Friday, February 4th. I'm Clayton Morris.
I'm Natalie Morris.
We have a jam-packed show for you today. We're going to be talking about a fight that happened yesterday at the State Department over this so-called Russian disinformation campaign that the United States says Russia is involved with. Are we about to head to war with Russia? We're going to show you what happened at the State Department. It's pretty amazing.
And there was war in Syria this week, and the United States has given us a little bit more explanation. We're going to break that down.
And also, Canada is asking for the GoFundMe money that's been set up for these Canadian truckers in this convoy to be put on hold. We want to know where this money is going. We don't necessarily think it should be going to terrorists or white supremacists or truckers. So we're going to get to the bottom of this story. All of that and more as Friday's edition rolls along. Good morning, everybody.
Welcome to your Friday. We're glad you joined us. It's a busy news day, busy news weekend, and a lot to talk about today. We're excited that you've joined us.
That's right. We have a daily newsletter you should sign up for. If you go to morninginvest.com. Morninginvest.com is the place to go. It'll be delivered to your inbox first thing in the morning. So we cover some of the big stories. You can read it over your cup of coffee. We think, brightens your day a little bit.
For instance, headline image today is that there is now a sexy Build-A-Bear from the same company that brings you regular Build-A-Bear.
No, see, that's what I would be. I would definitely be all board with that.
A sexy, if you click through the images, some of them are just kind of like a bear you give your beloved with flowers. And then some of them are kind of like suggestive, like, oh, the bear is feeling desires. I don't know. It's very strange. It also is probably also terrible for the environment.
Creepy,
just
sexy
like
bears.
Valentine flowers, there are eco-friendly ways to show someone you love them, I would say.
Don't give your significant other a creepy, sexy bear. Just gonna say
and
that.
A lot of them are like wine holding bears too, which jumps a whole other shark.
Just give them the whole wine. All right, let's start today with the Pentagon. So something interesting unfolded yesterday at the Pentagon. As you know, the White House has been beating the drums for us to head into a war with Russia. I think the United States government would love nothing more than for us to be involved in a protracted, lengthy war with Russia. So you're starting to hear like the groundwork being laid. Pieces of evidence are being thrown out there as true that this is what Russia is doing. And this is why we need to be prepared, sending 8,000 troops to Ukraine in order to be prepared because Russia is about to invade.
So the United States now says that Russia is about to release fake videos that they are using corpses, that they have actually hired actors to come and show some kind of conflict by Kiev military forces. They're warning, if we see those videos, do not believe them. They were faked. So if you saw some kind of casting call on social media to be in a Russian video, it's fake. Don't believe it. Now, when the State Department was asked, how do we know this? We did not really get a straight answer.
Yeah, so the Associated Press is Matt Lee. This is Matt Lee at the Associated Press. He's a diplomatic writer for the Associated Press. He said, okay, well, then show us the details of this. And here's how it unfolded yesterday at the State Department, a really unbelievable moment in the State Department. I'm going to play the whole thing because it is worth listening to.
Thanks. Okay, well, that's quite a mouthful there. So you said actions such as these suggest otherwise. Suggest meaning they suggest they're not interested in talks and they're going to go ahead with some kind of what action are you talking about?
One, the actions I've just pointed to. The fact that Russia continues to engage in disinformation campaigns.
You made an allegation that they might do that. Have they actually done it?
What we know, Matt, is what I have just said, that they have engaged in this activity, in this planning activity. But let me because obviously this is not the first time we've made these reports public. You'll remember that just a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry, made what report public?
You've made these reports public in the past. Like when we have this kind of information, we make this stuff public. Let's just recount some of this. We'll get back to Mr. Price here in a second. Ned Price, the State Department spokesperson. But here's some examples. Documents reveal U.S. officials misled the public on the war in Afghanistan. How about this? Lie by lie, a timeline of how we got into Iraq. Mushroom clouds, duct tape, Judy Miller, a curveball recalling how Americans were sold a bogus claim for invasion. Here's another one from the New York Times. How the U.S. hid an airstrike that killed dozens of civilians in Syria. Like on and on and on. The US
Do you have any weapons of mass destruction?
Well, I mean, here you go.
Right.
Here's the line by line timeline about this. And by the way, we should point out that this guy, Ned Price, he is a former CIA guy. So the guy that's speaking right now, remember, as Benjamin Norton points out, this CIA State Department spokesman, Ned Price, is former CIA, which brought us hits like WMDs, Russiagate, Havana Syndrome, and now claiming Russia will do a crazy false flag operation, and you have to just go along and believe them with zero evidence because, you know, the U.S. government says so. Career CIA analyst. But let's get back to Ned Price.
If you'll let me finish, I will tell you what report we made public. We told you a few weeks ago that we have information indicating Russia also has already prepositioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine. So that, Matt, to your question, is an action that Russia has already taken.
It's an action that you say that they have taken, but you have shown no evidence to confirm that. And I'm going to get to the next question here, which is, what is the evidence that they, I mean, this is like crisis actors, really? This is like Alex Jones territory you're getting into now. What evidence do you have to support the idea that there is some propaganda film in the making?
Matt, this is derived from information known to the U.S. government, intelligence information that we have declassified.
How dare you ask me that question? How dare you? How dare you ask me that question? And I think that speaks, you know, you're supposed to just take what they say at face value, like during the Obama administration.
Oh, it gets better. He suggests like printing out my words as evidence. Like he goes on to say, well, if you'd like to just write my words down and then I'll hand them to you and you have some evidence. That evidence does not make, guys. Right. You can't just print out things and say, there's your evidence.
Here's my evidence.
Where is it? Where is this information?
It is intelligence information that we have declassified.
Well, where is it? Where's the declassified information?
I just delivered it.
No, you made a series of allegations. And
would you like us to print it out the top up? Because you will see a transcript of this briefing that you can print out for yourself.
That's not evidence, Ned. That's you saying it. That's not evidence. I'm sorry.
What would you like, Matt?
What do you mean? You don't take my word as evidence?
I don't understand. You really? You don't? I mean, if you doubt, this is like what, and I love this tweet, Price response. If you doubt the credibility of the U.S. government or the British government or other governments, and you want to, you know, find solace in information that the Russians are putting out, that's for you. That's on you to do.
No, this is you saying the Russians will say this.
Right.
That's not, nobody's trying to find solace in any of that.
I mean,
I would like to see some proof that you can show that
Matt, you have been
that shows that the Russians are doing it. Ned, I've been doing this for a while.
I know, that was my point. You have been doing this for quite a while. You know that when we declassify intelligence information, we do so in a means. We do so.
Did you hear that?
So he says, I remember WMDs in Iraq. So this is somebody who is trying to learn from previous mistakes when the AP may have reported that there were, because he's an AP reporter, maybe, in fact, you know, we could just rewind the tape when the AP reported what the government said about WMDs, which are weapons of mass destruction. So he's saying, you can't fool me twice, right? So I do remember this. Now I'd like a little bit more than last time, right? It's like my dad would always say, there's not a big difference between one lie and two. There's a big difference between 0 and 1.
Right.
0 and 1, now you tell lies. You are a person who tells lies, right?
And I come
between 1 and 2, there's not. So he's just saying, we've been through this before, so let's say it's totally reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, again, here's the lie by lie, how we got into the Iraq war with WMDs. There's going to be mushroom clouds. I mean, all of this, and we were sold this bill of goods. We had Colin Powell sitting there with a vial of what was supposed to be chemical weapons. We had Donald Rumsfeld then later coming out and saying, well, you know, yeah, we were wrong about the WMDs. They were going to be in Tikrit, then they were going to be over here, then they were going to be over here, but they weren't there to begin with. We knew that they weren't there to begin with.
It was WMD whack-a-mole.
Yeah, and it didn't exist. So there was a fake whack-a-mole.
Let's let him finish because
Okay.
this is worth watching.
With an eye to protecting sources and methods.
Is not going to fall. I remember a lot of things. So where is the declassified information other than you coming out here and saying,
Matt, I'm sorry you don't like the format, but we have declassified.
It's not the format; it's the content.
I'm sorry you don't like the content. I'm sorry
It's
you.
not that I
I'm
don't
sorry
like
you
it,
are
we're
doubting
just-
the information that is in the possession of the U.S. government.
No,
What I'm telling you is that this is information that's available to us. We are making it available to you in
Well, then do it.
Right.
Where is? That's what he's asking. He just
order
wants the
for
information.
a couple reasons. One is
Would it
to
have been
attempt
better
to
if they
deter the
like
Russian.
had printouts, like here we're coming here, here's a press release, and then that, like if you have a folder with that, he's
No,
acting
because
like
that's what they've done before. I mean, that's what they've done before. They've just basically handed reporters press releases, and especially during the Obama administration, these press reporters would just go and regurgitate it literally verbatim, almost from the White House press report, would show up in the USA Today, would show up in the New York Times.
So what this guy is highlighting that you saying something does not make it true. This is super shocking to the State Department.
Right. And, as Edward Snowden tweets, and he says, look, anyone who questions a statement delivered from a podium is a tool of the Russians, the Islamic State, or both. Sorry, you know the rules. And he's being facetious here, of course, right? So just because you're questioning it, and he even says, I'm sorry. He says, I'm sorry that you question the U.S. government. I'm sorry that you just question the information the U.S. government is putting out here. I'm sorry. He's like apologizing to him, like, you little child, that you would.
It's
anyway.
very condescending.
Right.
Russians from going ahead with this activity. Two, in the event we're not able to do that, in the event the Russians do go ahead with this, to make it clear as day, to lay bare the fact that this has always been an attempt on the part of the Russian Federation to fabricate a pretext.
Yeah, but you don't have any evidence to back it up other than what you're saying. It's like you're saying, we think we have information the Russians may do this, but you won't tell us what the information is. And then when you're asked,
that is the idea behind deterrence, Matt. That is the idea behind deterrence.
And when
it is our hope that the Russians don't go forward with this.
You say, I just gave it to you. But that's not what
you seem not to understand. You seem not to understand the idea of deterrence. We are trying to deter the Russians from moving forward with this type of activity. That is why we're making it public today. If the Russians don't go forward with this, that is not ipso facto an indication that they never had plans to do so.
But then it's unprovable. I mean, my God, what is the evidence that you have that suggests that the Russians are even planning this?
Matt,
I'm not saying that they're not. But you just come out and say this and expect us just to believe it without you showing a shred of evidence that it's actually true. Other than when I ask, or when anyone else asks, what's the information? You said, well, I just gave it to you, which was just you making a statement.
Matt, you said yourself, you've been in this business for quite a long time. You know that when we make information, intelligence information public, we do so in a way that protects sensitive sources and methods. You also know that we declassify information only when we're confident in that information. If you doubt the credibility of the U.S. government, of the British government, of other governments, and want to, find solace in information that the Russians are putting out, that is for you to do.
I'm not asking.
How condescending is that? You want to find solace? I mean, that's literally what he says. And he want to find.
It's not at all about how he feels about it.
Right.
It's not about how anybody
That's for you
perceives it, right? It's about like, okay, let's have something like maybe a screenshot from Final Cut Pro, or an acting casting call, or a thumb drive taken from like
here are some images we got of this little acting scene that they were putting together with corpses, and they were going to pretend that the Ukrainians did this to us. That's why we're just give us something.
Take something from Game of Thrones,
But we get
something.
And I have to say, good on the Associated Press, good on Matt Lee for questioning this. By the way, we should all know his name. Like, this is an important reporter, like asking serious questions, who's been there. And he says, look, I've been burned. We've been all burned by WMDs. This is Matt Lee from the Associated Press.
DGAF, like that was I've been around the block,
He
calls himself, I'm an old dude, I'm a curmudgeon, I'm just not falling for this anymore. I'm too old for this crap kind of thing.
And we get this information. I mean, when you look at look at this Politico article, right? Should the U.S. rattle Putin's cage? Presented by Lockheed Martin. Like, this is where we get our information. We get from a military industrial complex. Like, you have an article in Politico that is asking whether or not we should basically bomb Russia, rattle Putin's cage, presented by Lockheed Martin, which stands to make millions, billions off of us going into a protracted war.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
That should not be allowed.
But that's what we do. That's the American government. That's what, this is the information that comes out of this. I should point out too that, so is any of this true? Right? What is the other reporting from the Ukrainian side? Interestingly enough, we have this report from a reporter, Sean Walker. He said, before today's U.S. briefing dropped, I spoke to Ukraine's deputy defense minister about a recent U.S. intel claim, and she had this to say. Last weekend, Reuters and CNN cited senior U.S. officials claiming Russia had moved blood supplies close to the border, indicating a potential imminent military attack. Ukraine's deputy defense minister, Hanna Maliar, denounced the blood supply claim, calling it a provocation designed to spread panic and fear in our society. Well, and on Thursday, Maliar told The Guardian she checked that claim with Ukrainian intelligence agencies, which had their own sources. It simply wasn't true, she said. We found no information to back this up. We did not see any blood supplies move to the front line or even in the civilian hospitals around the front, she said in an interview at the military airfield outside of Kiev. It's really important to look at the sources. These sources were anonymous, and I don't think it's right to use anonymous sources that cannot be checked, she said.
Okay.
So all of this information about there's all of these military hospitals being set up on the border, and blood supplies are being taken to the front because, get ready. Okay, we're not saying that that's not true. We're not saying that Russia is not ready to invade, but give us the proof of this false flag operation. Give us the proof that we're trying to you're trying to drag us into a war.
Right.
That's all I want. If you like this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, we have a membership program. For the price of a cup of coffee once a month, you can support independent journalism just by going to morninginvest.com/join.
You get access to exclusive videos, plus the ability to join and chat with us live. We really appreciate your subscription, and you are supporting independent journalism.